Hey, what's up triathletes? Taren here. If you found that your triathlon motivation isn't quite what it used to be in other times where you're super duper jacked up to get out there and train, take a look at your wrist. If you find that you're becoming a slave to your wristwatch and the power numbers and the metrics that you've devised for all your triathlon training, that might have something to do with it. Stick around because today I'm going to talk about how you can avoid being a slave to the wristwatch.
Which you see I do not have.
So a comment that I've got recently on one of my videos is that somebody has been completely burnt out from training by metrics for so long. And what I've personally seen is that there is a specific training group that I'm familiar with that they go through every single triathlon workout as just a pure slave to their data. They are looking at their bike computers and their wristwatch and their heart rate monitors every single day, and they're taking blood readings and like body chemistry, composition readings all the time. And they're constantly analyzing that data, trying to become better athletes. Now, that's cool. If you're looking to become the absolute tippy top, best performing athlete that you possibly can, you need that type of specificity. And I would probably argue that most professional triathletes often have that type of specificity, but not all of us are professional triathletes whose job it is to get in those absolute specific workouts all the time, and they have to hit certain numbers because their plan is so regimented throughout the year that they have no choice. In our case, we're age groupers. We should be having fun with triathlon, and in my opinion, the best approach to triathlon training is finding a system that makes you faster in the long run. Because if you're giving up speed over the course of 1 year, but burning yourself out for the rest of your life because you really didn't enjoy that 1 year, you aren't very fast for the rest of your life. So I found that a good way to balance triathlon data with the enjoyment of triathlon training is a few ways. Number one, work in times throughout the year that you just leave the watch behind. Maybe it's a few months in the off season, maybe it's after a race and before your next build-up starts, but make sure that there's some training that is just unstructured. Sure, maybe you keep the data going just so you get all those Strava segments still in, but don't even focus on what those numbers say. Just train freely and train by feel. This training by feel, by the way, will also make you more in tune with your body so that when you get to a race, you're better in tune with your capabilities. Second thing that you should do is train with friends. If you're training with friends and everyone has watches around them, you know what? Odds are pretty good that people aren't even going to be looking at those watches very often. So if you end up with a group of training partners who are all similar abilities and have similar goals, that's kind of enough to self-police. And if you're going on a similar training plan, then you can kind of just go with the group, and that takes your mind off of the training data while still getting in a good workout, because odds are pretty good you're going to be competitive against each other. Cool. You love triathlons, Mel.
I do love them.
She loves them. The third way to avoid burning out by training with nothing but training data is to switch up what training data you're training with. So in the middle of the off season or the beginning of the off season, I tend to train more by heart rate. Making sure that I'm not hitting and going through a ceiling of heart rate, because I want to just build fitness back up and I want to rebuild my cardiovascular system. Later on, as we start getting into the meat and potatoes of building strength for the upcoming race season, we switch over to power. And then once the winter goes away and we start getting out onto the track, then we start going for time around the track. So we're always switching it up and it's staying fresh, and we're not just constantly looking at
Power zone 1, power zone 1, heart rate zone 2, blah, 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 over and over and over.
That repetition is what I think makes training with power a little bit stale and can burn you out. The fourth thing that I would focus on is where you focus. Instead of focusing on what the power numbers say, I would focus on things like the small wins. I was talking with somebody at one point this past week who is saying it's reassuring to know that improvement in triathlon doesn't have to come for the next race that is 2 months from now and then have massive improvements 2 months after that. It's a long, long process, and if you're consistently chipping away at becoming a little bit better, you're gonna be very fast in the long run when we're talking 5, 6, 7 years down the road, so that you don't have to wait to become fast 5, 6, 7 years down the road, make sure that you're focusing on the small wins day to day. Maybe you feel a little bit easier with a certain perceived exertion or a certain metric, or maybe you can go a little bit harder. So focus on those little wins, because those are what will make you faster in the race. Instead of focusing just on the race or just on the numbers over and over, really enjoy those little wins. Be grateful for them. And then finally, the fifth thing that I will say about training with metrics is that if you like them, keep them. The biggest thing that I want to get across with this is that if you find that it is boring to constantly be training off of data and looking at metrics and not enjoying the process, that's when you should back off. But you know what? If you're a person that's really numbers driven, stay numbers driven. Keep looking at the training data. Do whatever it is that makes you want to do triathlons for years to come, because it's a long game.
And that's okay.
So there you have it, triathletes. I hope that this helps you pull you out of a slump if you are in a training slump. I've been there. I know what it's like. It ain't fun. So don't let yourself get there before it's too far gone. As always, triathletes, happy and hard training, and good luck in your next triathlon.